This is Datila, and welcome to a Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about AEW Dynamite. Let's kick things off talking about this all-in footage. So, since last week, it was revealed that tonight we would be shown footage from All In from the fight between CM Punk and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And you had, oh, hi, Chitty's World. This would be an easy reveal, 1 out of 10, embarrassing. It was. It was. It honestly was, because like you had the Bucks introduce this footage, and they basically, like, it seems like they used this footage to try to push forward the rivalry with FTR. But some of the stuff they said was like they talk about their match with FTR at All In. And they said that this match, there was an incident involving 2 people, basically Jungle Boy Jack Perry and CM Punk. And they said that if you had a problem with Jack Perry, then chances are you're the problem. And that they talk about how the other individual attempted to make the entire show about them. And that individual happens to be friends with FTR, which obviously we know is CM Punk. Now, like, you can't hear what is being said. You just see when CM Punk attacks Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And so it seems like he was the aggressor. But again, like, we only know what Punk's side of the story is. We don't know Jungle Boy Jack Perry's. Again, you can't hear what is being said. So you don't know if Jungle Boy said anything. Backfired. The fans were chanting CM Punk just want good and did nothing for them moving forward. BRB. Okay, no worries. So, yeah, fans were chanting for CM Punk. So then after the footage is shown, like, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson said that they can't spread rumors and bash someone like this, because Nicholas says that FTR were the masterminds of that whole ordeal. CM Punk's still trending number 1, by the way. All I can say is, what was he accomplished out of this? Punk said exactly what happened. Exactly. And they talk about how they're not going to shake the hands of FTR pretty much. So, and then this leads into an FTR segment, which I'll talk about right now. But, like, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with all of this. I know that apparently Tony Khan's feelings were hurt because CM Punk said what he said on the Ariel Helwani show. And so this seemed to be a form of retaliation. But I feel like it backfired on this. And you know what the sad part of all of this is? Is that everyone is just talking about this footage. Everyone's just talking about what Will Ospreay said, and I'll get into that. No one's talking about tonight's show. No one's talking about how Anna Jay and Mariah May had a good match. No one's talking about the banger of a match that was Adam Copeland and Penta Miedo. All everyone is talking about is this footage. Like, this whole show was pranced about around this footage. I'm surprised this didn't go in last. This wasn't last. But, like, honestly, what were they trying to accomplish? I feel like they were trying to use this to spike their ratings. I mean, they haven't hit 1 million viewers in a long time. Even when Mercedes Monè debuted, they still didn't hit 1 million viewers. So could have this been used as a ratings play? Maybe. But what were your guys' thoughts and opinions on them showing this all-in footage? I mean, CM Punk is, like Io said, CM Punk is trending on Twitter, and like, people were comparing this to WCW. And, like, people like to point out Tony Schiavone's... I don't know why this isn't showing. Oh, okay. People want to point out Tony Schiavone's reaction to this, saying that he looked like... It kind of did look that way, that he wasn't happy with this. This helped Drew McIntyre throw for ammo. It did. It probably is going to help Drew McIntyre throw more ammo at CM Punk, especially after what happened on Raw. But I just feel like this was totally unnecessary for them to even show. Like, this happened last year. Why not show this last year? Why wait till now? Like, again, I don't understand what they were trying to accomplish with all of this. Seriously. Something like this can be compared to WCW giving away the results of Raw on Nitro back in the day. Tony Schiavone probably was thinking, yeah, this is gonna put butts in their seats. So this wasn't a good look for AEW, if you ask me. But this FTR segment, which followed the footage and everything, they were talking about, they actually bring up what were the Bucks trying to accomplish and that they were sick and tired of talking about this. Honestly, I feel like everybody is sick and tired of talking about this. Happened 8 months ago, and they say that they're ready to move on instead of talking about the fact that they're going back to Wembley. Exactly, like they gotta move on from this. It happened last year. They gotta stop talking about this. They bring up the fact that the Bucks constantly remind them that without them, AEW wouldn't exist, and Dax makes a reference to shaving Cash's back. So if you guys remember the 31 of FTR's back when they were the Revival's final segments was Dax shaving Cash's back. I don't know what that was about, but I remember that. I kind of felt like, don't get me wrong, this had passion in it, but it was like, was it necessary? I mean, you could have cut this promo any other day. Like, they were talking about how they're building this for the future of pro wrestling so people can have options, and that if the Bucks don't want to be a part of this, they can take their ball and go home. It's kind of like what Adam Copeland said last week. I mean, when Punk said those comments. So again, Brett says it was for ratings pop. FTR the face pretty much having the same feeling as the Bucks are the heels using this, I believe, bringing Jack Perry in. I mean, if it doesn't lead to that, I don't know what to tell you, but it could possibly leading to Jack Perry coming back. Who knows? But I just felt like this was totally unnecessary. Let me see. The Bucks have become what they hated or argued about. That's true. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the footage, of FTR's response to this. Was it necessary? Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section down below. Now let's talk about this Will Ospreay interview, because that's another thing that everyone's been talking about. So apparently Triple H said some remarks on the Pat McAfee show about the grind and about how people working less dates. All this proved was Punk was right all along. Yeah. And working about less dates. And then Will Ospreay talks about how he's one of you guys traveling between the UK and America and delivering the best professional wrestling match the world has to see. And then he takes a shot at Triple H, saying that seen as the guy who said is only in the position he is because he was grinding on the boss's daughter. And you can even look at Renee's face. She doesn't seem too happy that, or kind of seems like, why are you talking about this? Look to her on her face. The back shaving bit was Dax referencing the terrible booking WWE years ago. Oh yeah, that's what I meant. But I just didn't remember. I know that's what I meant. It was they're part of one of their final stuff, but I didn't remember what the context behind that was. It was against the Usos. So I mean, Will Ospreay is not the first person to say that to Triple H about Triple H, and he's also not going to be the last person to say that about Triple H. I think Ospreay should have said this, though. Triple H could have referred to anyone who's new in the business, which Ospreay is not new. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the way Triple H said could have been referring to someone who's new in the business. Maybe could have also been referring to him, but who knows? But the way I interpret it is he was referring to someone who was new in the business, not necessarily Will Ospreay. But like I said, Will Ospreay is not the first person to throw that at Triple H, and he's not going to be the last person to use that on Triple H. So then he starts talking about Daniel Bryan and about how he can't call himself the best wrestler in the world until after Dynasty when he pins Bryan, and that on April 21st, Bryan will find out why his name is Will Ospreay and why he's on a whole nother level. So this was the second half of this promo was fine. But the first half was just kind of was that necessary? We'll see. But what did you guys think of Will Ospreay's promo and of his interview? Was that shot at Triple H necessary? Do you guys think Triple H was talking about Will Ospreay when he said that? Was he just referring to someone in the generic form? On the live chat or in the comment section down below. So tonight's Dynamite was supposed to kick off with the Eliminator match, but Zor Strickland attacks Samoa Joe on the ramp and he speared Samoa Joe through the table. And then we find out that on Rampage, Orange Cassidy will have a match and he will address transactions. So the first match was Adam Copeland versus Penta Miedo. And I thought this was a really good match. And Penta's blue gear was actually pretty cool. I liked it. Poor Alexander Hantes took the spear on accident. And then that avalanche code red to Adam Copeland was pretty cool. But Adam Copeland was successful after this. No surprise there. Like I said, this was a banger of a match, and I feel like no one's talking about it because the footage and Will Ospreay overshadowed everything. At the end, the lights go out, and Julia Hart and Brody King attack Adam Copeland. And then Willow Ospreay comes in and she attacks Julia Hart. So we find out later on in the night that it's going to be a mixed tag match. It's going to be Willow and Adam Copeland versus Julia Hart and Brody King next week on Dynamite. And this is in a segment with Eddie Kingston where you know how Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe are supposed to team up together. He calls them the Reddit Chicken Hawks? So we also get a LionHook interview, which basically they're talking about how Chris Jericho brings up how Shibata and him are under their learning tree and how they should start listening to him. And that he basically makes a plan. He wants them to listen. And then Shibata with the phone was like, what is Jericho's deal? That match made Adam look slow as fuck. He had a hard time keeping up with Penta. Cero miedo. So we had a trios match. LionHook and Katsuyori Shibata versus Shane Taylor Promotions. This is an okay match. Obviously, the pairing of LionHook isn't gonna last long because Shibata accidentally cheap shot at Chris Jericho, and that pissed off Chris Jericho. And then Jericho and Hook were arguing on the outside, while poor Shibata was left in there alone with Shane Taylor Promotions, and they ended up winning this match because of that. And Hook went inside and raised Shibata's hand, but Jericho was just walking away. So Dustin Rhodes gets an injury. He's basically talking about his Eliminator title match, basically saying he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I'm sure it was a coincidence that Dustin Rhodes is facing Samoa Joe the week after Cody Rhodes won the WWE title at WrestleMania. We get Kazuchika Okada versus Cristiano Argentino. I was not a huge fan of this. Why is he facing a jobber? This was totally unnecessary. You could have just had Okada go out there and call out Pac. But yeah, so he calls out Pac and he accepts the challenge at Dynasty. And then Okada and the Bucks attack Pac and FTR come out. But they also get attacked. They get the EVP trigger and a chair shot. A Samoan named Joe defeated a Rhodes. Yeah. So I didn't mind what followed, but it's that squash match that I was not a huge fan of. And during this, the crowd was chanting CM Punk. I thought I was hearing things, but no, they were chanting CM Punk. So it's you got people to chant CM Punk. We get a Bang Bang Scissor Gang segment, and basically this whole segment is about Jay White wanting to find someone on Rampage, and it ends up being Matt Sydal. We get the Charleston Champion Champagne Toast segment with Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. And Toni Storm, she comes out there and they're serving the champagne, but she throws that drink at Thunder Rosa and then attacks her. And she has the audacity to wipe off that face paint. If you guys know anything about the Latino culture, that face paint is very huge in Latino culture. It's used for the Day of the Dead celebration. So in Thunder Rosa, being Mexican, her culture is very important to her. So she took offense to that. Because Deonna Purrazzo came out and Deonna tried to help her. But she just pushed Deonna away. Then Mariah May comes out and Toni Storm kisses her on the cheek. It's not going to be the first time that Mariah May gets kissed tonight. This leads into Mariah May versus Anna Jay, which I thought was a pretty good match. Mariah May wins, and then at the end, Anna Jay puts her in the Queen Slayer, and Mina I can't say her last name. Sharika comes out to aid Mariah May. So she was Mariah May's partner in Japan and Stardom. And she gives her a champagne and they make out. And the interesting part is that Toni Storm was nowhere to be found. Like, where was Toni Storm when all of this was happening? She didn't come to Mariah's aid. Mina did. So very interesting there. We'll see if that goes anywhere. We get a Mercedes Monè interview. And she's basically talking about how she's going to be a history maker as they head to Double or Nothing. So from my understanding from this, it seems like she's not going to wrestle until Double or Nothing. So she talks about her history with Willow and about how she faced her almost a year ago for that New Japan Strong Women's title. And she lost her chance to be the first champion. Sorry about that. The lights go out and Mercedes is attacked. The question is, who attacked her? Could it be Willow? I feel like that would be the obvious choice. But sometimes, the answer is obvious. Could it be Julia Hart? That's like 2 months. Are you serious? Though that may change. Hopefully it changes. But I just got the interpretation that she wasn't gonna wrestle until Double or Nothing. But maybe she'll debut. Maybe she'll wrestle. Maybe Statlander. I could see it being Statlander. It seems like they're trying to turn Statlander here. I could see it being Statlander. What about Julia Hart? Maybe a certain Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, or Jamie Hayter. Since I know Tony Khan did call Mercedes Monè the face of the women's division. That's something that Britt will call herself. Maybe it was her. I feel like this is going to be like the obvious choice is the answer. It's probably Willow. Or like I said, Chris Statlander here. So we have to wait and see. But because the lights went out, it kind of makes you think it's Julia Hart. But I don't think it's Julia Hart. Like I said, it's probably going to be the obvious choice. And they had to decide, like, do they want Willow to be a baby face or do they want her to be the heel? I mean, she's probably going to be the heel in this feud with Mercedes Monè. But I do think Mercedes should wrestle before Double or Nothing. So the main event ends up being AEW World Title Eliminator match, Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes. This wasn't a bad match. Like, Dustin Rhodes ended up hitting the crossroads to Samoa Joe during this, and he still didn't win. Samoa Joe was obviously going to win this. And at the end, like, he puts Dustin in the coconut clutch, and, like, Swerve Strickland came out, and he punched Samoa Joe with a chain. And then to close off Dynamite, Swerve Strickland's holding up Samoa Joe's title. So overall, I feel like tonight's Dynamite was actually pretty weak. I feel like this whole show was all about the footage, that they didn't even try to put on a great show. I did like Mariah May versus Anna Jay. I did like Adam Copeland versus Penta Miedo. That's pretty much all I liked from here. Tony Schiavone getting Foley wins title WCW flashbacks. Yeah. So on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, if I had to rank tonight's episode, I'm going to be a little generous here. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. This was a very, very, very weak episode of Dynamite. Probably the weakest episode in the 5 years that Dynamite's been airing. Honestly, I feel like this has been such a very weak episode. I'm hoping next week can be a lot better. But like I said at the beginning, the only thing, negative 1 out of 10. That's funny. That is very funny. Negative 1 out of 10. 3 out of 10, this show sucked. Yeah, it really was not good. And Dynamite could be good. We've seen some incredible Dynamites, but this show just did not do it. Hopefully next week is a lot better. Okay. So thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or use a new video. And I will see you guys tomorrow on Body Slam for all things TNA. Bye.